So in this video, we're going to talk about the astrology and how it relates to the tarot cards. A lot of students struggle on this one, but actually it's really simple. Every single card, apart from the aces and the princesses, has an astrological attribution. In this video, we're just going to do a quick run through, very basic, the minimum information you need in order to know the meanings of the cards and the astrology, so you can start making predictions right away. Over to you, Bart.
Well, it's basically the minor arcana is basically very simply. You have the four signs, which is fire, water, air.
Four elements. Four elements.
Four elements, which are represented in the four suits. And so in the minor arcana, you have the 2s, 3, and 4s are the cardinal signs of that element.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are the fixed signs of that element. And 8, 9, and 10 are the mutable signs of that element. So
we've introduced some terms there right away: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. The cardinal signs, you start with Aries. And then you go on to water, which is Cancer. Then you go on to Capricorn, which is Earth. And
air, I always forget.
Gemini. Cardinal, no, Cardinal is Libra.
Is it from air? I always forget.
Cardinal is Libra, yeah. So the fixed signs are the sign. The cardinal ones is the energy comes in. It's a rush of energy, okay? So they're all on basically the equinoxes and the spring equinox and the solstices. That's where they are. The fixed signs are in the middle. They're the most stable signs of the zodiac. And so the stable Earth is Taurus, which is the Hierophant. Then we go on to the water sign, which is Scorpio.
Oh, yes.
And then we go on to the air sign, Aquarius.
Yes, and fire.
And then we missed one out. Leo. Leo is the fire sign. It's the fixed one. So, and they're the ones that are known as the Kerubic signs that you see in magic as well. So they're the cherubs.
Crowley says that the fixed elements are, the fixed zodiac signs are normally the element in which the element is at its purest.
Yes, yes. It's stable.
Yes.
So the energy comes in with cardinal, stays along with the fixed, and then it starts to fall away with the mutable signs. The mutable signs are Gemini for air.
Virgo.
Sagittarius, Virgo is Earth. We do know our stuff. We're just doing it off our heads in memory here. And
I also have to think here.
Yeah. And mutable is Sagittarius, fire. And Pisces is the other sign as water. And you'll notice if you look at the horoscopes, you'll see that the cardinal, fixed, and mutable all form crosses. Okay. So for Virgo, the opposite sign is Pisces. For Sagittarius, the opposite sign is Gemini, and so on. So it's really important that you kind of get into your head just these energies of how they change, and you can see the dispersal kind of thing in the 8, 9, and 10 of Swords, where things are kind of breaking up. They're not particularly wonderful. It's the Aries just falling apart basically. And then we have the cardinal signs of fire, which is Aries. The energy is jumping in there. The 2 of Wands taking control. The 3 of Wands is building things up. And the 4 of Wands, in this case, the 2, 3, and 4, the 4th position is holding that energy. So even though it's sort of gone up there, and then it's sort of kind of staying in that sort of place. So you can actually, if you work through these ideas of cardinal, fixed, and mutable, of seeing how the energy works with each of the signs of the zodiac. So, and you also, of course, need to know the times of the year when these signs are ruling. The easiest way is to start with your sign, whichever one it is, and you'll know your date of birth. I would hope so. And you know roughly when that sign starts and when it finishes. And most of the signs of the zodiac start around the 21st, 22nd, maybe 23rd of the month. So for Virgo, my sign, it starts on the 22nd, 23rd of August and goes through the 21st of September. And then we start Libra on the same degree, 21st. Yes, Bart.
I think Virgo is the 22nd. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just, it's if you're in the ballpark.
My daughter was born on the 22nd of September.
That's Libra.
At 11:35.
Yeah.
So, and she's a Virgo.
She's a Virgo.
She's on the edge of being a Leo. Right.
But it just depends, because the actual movement from the sun to each 30 degrees depends. It varies from year to year, basically. So you're just going to do a ballpark kind of figure. So if you saw Libra in the future position, adjustment or justice, which is Libra, then you could say something's happening from around about the 21st, 22nd of September till the 21st, 22nd of October, around about that time. Often it's a good enough prediction. Oh my God, you're right. Something did happen at that time, Paul. And because they've forgotten the numbers anyway. So they just remember the signs.
And then if you think, so for example, now to continue, if the 8, 9, and 10s represent the three decanates, let's say Virgo.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, yeah. So
then then the 8 is from like around the 22nd to about the beginning of the.
We just need to explain what a decanate is there, Bart. Decan is a Latin word for 10 and means 10 degrees. So each sign of the zodiac has 30 degrees, and that's subdivided into 3 groups of 10. This is a very ancient system. It goes back to the Sumerians, I think. And you can also, there's a famous ceiling in, I think it's Dendra in Egypt, where the 360 degrees is broken up into these 36 decanates. So there's 3 decanates for each sign of the zodiac. And as Bart said right at the beginning of this video, you start with the Cardinal. So the 2, 3, and 4 of wands are the 3 decanates of Aries. So there's about 10 degrees, and each degree basically equals a day. So 10 degrees equals 10 days. So if March the 21st was the spring equinox, when the start of Aries, the first 10 days of that would be the 2 of wands. Then you move on to the 3 of wands, which is the next 10 days, and then the 4 of wands, which is the final 10 degrees. So you can narrow, so with your predictions, you can narrow things down to a group of 10 degrees, 10 days, which is pretty good. Especially if you're just doing a reading and you're just like, or you can also work backwards as well. Sometimes things are referenced in the future position in a reading that happened before. So if I was doing a reading now and there's something about the Emperor card that's on top, I might say, something was going on end of March going into April. And I say, oh yes, there was this thing happening. It was nothing to do with necessarily the Emperor. He's a strong man, but it's actually a timing card that tells you something was going on. So you can do the past just as well as you can do the future. And the way I do this is to sort of see the next 6 months. Any card relating to the next 6 months is the future. But the other cards that relate to the previous 6 months are all to do with the past. And sometimes you often get things happening at the same time as well. So it's an interesting way. You can just start to see things past, present, and future. You don't have to worry about the meanings, because this is purely on timing. So if you saw the 10 of Swords, and that was happening the last 10 days of Gemini, which is June 20 up to June 20th. Doesn't mean there's a disaster happening for those 10 days because it's 10 of Swords. It just means something's going on. And you look to the cards either side of that card to see what else is going on, or you can count from that card as well. That's another way of doing things. Some things we haven't talked about so far. The aces.
Yeah.
Because they're not part of the zodiac. The zodiac is a band that goes around, basically around the equator. It's at an angle, but that's where all the zodiac signs are, in this narrow band. Now, the aces, they actually revolve around quadrants of 90 degrees around the pole star. So you could kind of see them as a 3-month period, and depends how you see the elements as to whether you see those, each one is spring, summer, autumn, or winter. And the princesses are the thrones of the aces. So they're also connected with that thing as well. Yes, Bart?
Well, my dear friend Lon says that the aces represent a quarter of the, how do you say, the hemisphere. And the center,
around the pole star, 90 degrees.
So they are actually location.
You can do that as well, because the princesses, and they start with the starting point is actually on the Great Pyramid of Gizeh as naught. If you're familiar with time zones and things, all the time zones start on Greenwich Mean Time, which is about a mile or two down the road from where I live, actually, because we're due south of there. So that would be that's where all time zones are created. So in tarot terms, it's shifted over to the Great Pyramid of Gizeh because it goes Aleister Crowley. I think it might have been an earlier idea, actually, but using the Great Pyramid as a timekeeping mechanism for all of these things. It's a reference point. And so when we come to the court cards, the other ones, the knights, the queens, and the princes, they are not actually part of the zodiac system. Okay, they're actually in a position between the aces and the princesses and the zodiac signs. So they're not part of the zodiac, and they're also offset by 10 degrees. Okay, so it does my head in to this day as to what they're supposed to be. But you can, I mean, what I do, I cheat. So, for example, the Prince of Wands is Leo, even though it's not really in part of that thing. The Knight of, because Leo is air of fire, and the Prince is air of fire. Capricorn is fire of earth, and that's really to do with this mountain. So that's really, so the Knight of Discs is the Capricorn one. The Queen of Cups is Pisces. And you can go through all of them like this, you see, and sort of use that system. There's about 4 or 5 different systems associated with the court cards, but none of them will make sense to your clients, who will only know the signs of the zodiac. So you can keep things simple for yourself. And by saying this, it doesn't mean necessarily that the person they're thinking of, the Prince of Wands, doesn't necessarily represent a Leo, but it might. Let's see. How does that sound, Bart?
Well, it might be someone with flaming red hair.
Babylon.
Yeah, but according to the Golden Dawn tradition, the court cards give the physical, describe the physical appearance of people. Eh?
Yeah. I gave up. You know, I mean, if you're doing a reading for a black person, and you get the Queen of Cups and saying that, you know, they have a blonde wife, it doesn't work. I mean, this is the problem with the court cards, which is why many tarot teachers and tarot students throw out the court cards. But actually, they're the ones that give you the most flexibility and fluidity to move around the reading to help you sort of establish what's going on. And sometimes, you know, I sometimes see there's 2 or 3 court cards together and I describe them, and they're actually representing aspects of the client who's sitting opposite me. And I say, well, they're about, and say, well, that's me actually. Oh, okay. And they can be quite contradictory as well, because we are contradictory. We're not this cold, logical sorted, centered person that doesn't deviate from anything. We can have contradictory views.
Yes, or contradictionary properties.
Yeah.
You could have I've noticed that now with making these horoscopes as well. I have people who on one side are dead scared of anything they don't understand, cling to numbers and logic, and on the other hand, they are quite gifted for they are quite receptive and quite gifted for spiritual things.
Yeah.
These are things that apparently clash, but still you can be both at the same time.
Yeah. Flexibility is the key to this. We're not dealing with things in absolute terms, but as you can see, you can kind of build up a pretty good picture. Now, we went from the major arcana, which is 30 degrees, down to the the minor arcana from the 2s to the 10s, which is narrowed it down to 10 degrees. But you can get even closer than that. You can get it down to the day of the week. And it's really easy. Because the major arcana that we haven't mentioned so far, Fortune is Jupiter, and that rules Thursday. Mars is the Tower, and that rules Tuesdays. The Moon is Monday, High Priestess. The Sun is Sunday, the Sun. The Universe card is Saturn, which rules Saturday. The Empress is Venus, and that's Friday, Freya's day.
Wednesday, Mercury.
Wednesday, Mercury. We're not doing this with the scripts.
In French, the names of the days of the week still have the names of the planets in them.
Yeah, lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi. In some cultures, it's day 1, day 2, day 3. But usually there's a sub kind of knowledge of all the things. You know, the whole system of the days of the week is incredibly ancient as well. So, and also, I mean, the religions have a holy day. So for the Jews, it's Saturday. Christians is Sunday. Muslims, it's Friday. This relates to Venus, and so on. So all of these things have an astrological attribution. In many respects, astrology is more fundamental than the tarot. But the tarot includes all of these things. So we've covered all the cards except for the mother letters, the Fool, the Hangman, and the Aeon card, or Judgment. And the Fool is air, the Hangman is water, and the Aeon, or the Judgment card, is fire. And they don't have an astrological attribution as such.
And so comes the question, what about Earth then?
Yes, there isn't an Earth card. There is, if you read Libra 777, there's no Spirit as well, actually. So in Libra 777, it goes from 0 to 1 and then 32. Then it has 2 extra rows, 32 bis for Earth, for the Universe card, which is the Earth. And the Aeon is 31 bis, and that represents Spirit. And actually, Spirit is also all 22 of the major cards as well. So technically, even though we have Capricorn and Taurus and Virgo representing the Earth element, in tarot terms, there isn't actually an Earth element. And this is to do with the idea that the Earth element is actually a conglomeration of fire, water, air, plus Earth. This creates the 4, which comes from somewhere else. So the 4 is totally dynamic. And that's why Astrology calls the AC, the pentacle, they're pentacles, aren't they? Discs, because discs spin. Okay. And this thing, this spinning disc is very much to do with the spinning of the planets and the spinning of the solar system as well, and us spinning around the axis of the North-South pole.
It's like a kaleidoscope when you see it, I find.
Yeah. We think of Earth as dead and inert, but actually Crowley coloured it green to represent spring growth. Let's see. So, and of course, the aces represent spirit. They don't represent the element they're associated with. It's because it's the birth of that element, the beginning of that element.
How does he call it again?
Itself.
The root?
The root of the powers of the elements. Yes. So, you know, these things you need to be familiar with if you want to be a good tarot reader, because they, you know, when you come up, you don't have to refer to a book, and you sound, and if you're spouting these astrological terms, people think you know astrology when you may not have a clue, which is usually my case actually. So what we thought we'd do is a little bit of fun, and we're going to see how quickly I'll start it for a bit, and then I'll hand over to Bart. And what Bart's going to do is going to flash the cards, nothing else, I hope. And I'm going to, as quick as I can, say what the card is, what the meaning is, and a bit of astrology, and then we'll do the next one. We'll go bang, 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 bang. See how well we do. Are you ready, Bart?
I'm ready, Paul.
This is the Olympics of Tarot coming up. Okay, go.
If you want.
10 of Wands, oppression. That's the last decanates of Sagittarius. Next one. 6 of Wands, victory. That is the third decanates of Leo, success. Good. Next one.
Hold it.
Keep it to the right. Yeah. The 9 of Cups, happiness, and that's the second decanate of Pisces. Go on quicker. 4 of Swords is the second decanates of Aquarius, truce, peace. The High Priestess is the Moon, easy one. Next one. The Prince of Discs, I would say he's Taurus. It looks like the ball there. Next one. Go on. Gotta go. Have the Hangman. That's water. Next one. 7 of Swords, futility. That's the decanate of Aquarius. The Sun card is the Sun. Easy one. Next one. The 6 of Cups, pleasure. That's decanate of Scorpio. 9 of Swords. That's the second decanate of Gemini. Cruelty. 9 of Discs. That's the second decanate of Virgo. Gain, financial gain. The 9 of Wands. All the 9s. Have you not shuffled these cards? Sagittarius.
This is just, it's destiny.
6 of Discs. Success. Taurus.
Yeah.
Prince of Wands. Yeah, we are. Leo.
Leo. Now, everybody, you know, we also made the mistake thinking that because this bears the sigil of Crowley, Crowley was a Leo, but no, he wasn't. He's an ascendant Leo.
Well, that's why. That's why he went by the ascendant, because it's more fun. Prince of Cups.
Yeah. Come on, Prince of Cups.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, Prince of Cups. Yeah, next one. Scorpio. 8 of Swords, interference, and first decanate of Gemini, mental blocks. Princess of Wands, she's parked the North Pole somewhere up there. Knight of Wands, we'll say he's Aries.
Hey, we already seen this one.
Yeah, the universe, with Saturn or Earth. Mercury, which is the Magus. 7 of Disc failures, Taurus, last decanate of Taurus.
May.
Queen of Discs, we'll say she's Virgo. Knight of Cups. Yeah, Knight of Cups. Cancer. Leo, the Lust card. Queen of Wands, Sagittarius. 3 of Wands. Right, now it's your go, Bart. Ready?
What? No. I'm not as fast as you. No. I will do that privately. No.
No?
No. By the time I will cook up way too much. No, I'm not as good as you on that yet.
But if you're doing a reading, you're seeing all of that information when you're doing a tarot card reading, basically.
Then you can have a little yap around while you think. Oh wait, let me think. Oh yeah, is that number? Which one? Let me see.
Give yourself thinking time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, you can, and then you just talk a bit about it. About look at this card and look at the beautiful pictures on it and the colors. They mean something. And
I don't need to do that. I don't need to flannel so much.
Yeah, but you have you're a pro, Paul.
Well, I should be. You know, it's that information should be there in mind. If you noticed, And what I've said about those cards is pretty much what I say in a tarot reading. Okay. The key words is often just a key word that's on the tarot card, the Nine of Cups, happiness especially. And you just kind of go from there because you're putting things in a sentence because it's a sequence of cards.
Yeah, and also, since we're on about astrology anyway, when you got a minor arcana card, you got any card, then first you have the zodiac sign, you got the planets, but then you got the number of the Sephiroth it's on.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Which is, but there's also a planet related to that number. So there's actually these three influences you have to keep in mind when you're reading the card.
Yes, but that's Kabbalah. That's not astrology as such.
But it is because they are linked to planets, eh?
Yes, but if you look at Libra 777, they're kept separate. The 1s to 10s are separate from the actual 11 to 20 to 32, which is where you really find the planetary attributions as well. So there is an overlap, and they do a different function and things. But that would be for another video when we actually talk about Kabbalah and things like this. So really, there's not a lot of information you need to know in order to understand the basics of the astrology of each tarot card. And we didn't point this out, but in the minor cards, all of them have the planet and the sign of the zodiac on the card. Usually
it's not always very easy to find if you've got small.
It's there. And of course, you know that the number of the card as well. So all of those things combine to give you the keyword meaning of that card, is if you know the astrology as well. So this is one of the things you need to do, is just get familiar with the basic astrology. You could lay out the cards in the proper order in 36 in a circle. Do it that way with a major arcana in the right places as well.
I'm sure you have some. I have a few of those pictures on my computer. I already sent them to you, but if you want, I'll send them again.
Yeah, we'll stick it in the video. And it's just something that you just, when you know these things, this information, and it's easy to trip out. Oh, when's this going to happen? Oh, it'll happen in October.
Yeah, but you need to familiar once you actually.
And October is a good enough answer for a lot of the time. They're not expecting to the minute of the day or anything like that. So that's how I do my predictions. Basically, is keep it simple to October or November. It's going to happen in November, something like that. You see, and so you can do a lot of predictions and working out of the energies purely by just the basic information. The less information is more. You don't want to fill your head with 20 different divinatory meanings of the cards, because of the 20 that probably there, I've used one, maybe two in all the time. In 35 years I've been reading the tarot, just one of those two. I've meticulously wrote them down so many times in so many notebooks and everything else, but in the end I use the ones that are convenient to me. And for you, there may be different ones, but if it works, it works. And that's what you stick with until you find the energy changes, and then you come up with a different way of expressing those cards. So this is a short and simple video today, just of how you can just from the top of your head give an insight into what those cards mean in the simplest possible form. You don't need complications and stuff. Keep it simple and you'll go a hell of a long way, and you boost your confidence when you're reading for your clients. Anything else, Bart?
No, actually, it was very complete. I have a next subject.
What's that?
Abracadabra. Or abracadabra.
Abracadabra. Gonna reach out and grab you.
Abracadabra.
Steve Miller Band. Okay, that's the next one. If you don't know, the abracadabra actually appears in the Chariot card. So that's something for you to see where you can see if you can actually find it. Until next time, we've seen you.